Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2019 Stage Racer episode number 79. We're on to La Vuelta. It's also very late in the season. Been extending CCC budget down, Sagan with Movistar. I think we talked about that at the end of the last episode and did our preview of La Vuelta. And unlike most years, this year's, the 2022 La Vuelta, quite challenging. Far more challenging than the typical La Vuelta, which is, for the most part, the easiest of the three Grand Tours in terms of climbing, in terms of difficulty. This year is arguably much tougher. We have a couple unimportant races right after, but then we have the Il Lombardio and Tour of Guangxi, and one little punchy stage is all, the rest is all sprints. So other than Il Lombardia, it's really just La Vuelta to finish off the current season and then move on to our new home at the big money team, the big payer. Team time trial to open up the tour, and I'm first out of the box. I'm actually wearing the number 1 jersey, so apparently Mitchelton Scott won this last year. And I know I certainly did not. I think it might have been one of the Yates brothers who claimed the victory. So the team that's with me today, decent time trialists. I sure hope the team didn't bring this group purely based on their time trialing ability. Otten can climb a little bit. He'll help. Clark is going to be nothing but a domestique for this one. Barbaro's got a little bit of punch, a little bit of sprint to him. Durbridge, a little bit of punch. Some classics capability, but nothing else other than helping us today. Hepburn, nothing but helping us today. He's good on the flat, at least, so he can help lead the peloton through there. Jansen's a little bit of punch, but again, helpful on the flat. And Smith, second partial sprinter. So we do seem to be focused on the GC, but without much support. Our time at the first checkpoint is good. And as we approach the halfway point, how good are we at that first checkpoint? We are 3 seconds ahead of Dimension Data, 5 ahead of Soudal. Euskadi is 9 seconds back, and SEG is 16 seconds down. That is a World Tour team. So, let's see, as I'm approaching my next turn, I do have the energy, so pushing at 99 is working just fine for us. It looks like everybody's going to make it to the end. And this is not about longevity, survival. This is going to be more about how hard can we go? What is our top speed that we can achieve? I think I can actually extend mine a bit as we push through the second checkpoint, and we're already down to second there. Dimension Data ahead of us now. So we went from 3 seconds ahead of them to the other direction through the second checkpoint. A little unfortunate considering we're going flat out. It's just the capabilities of the time trials here. 1 second down on EF Education first. We're still in a good position overall. I mean, SEG, you can see just how much they're dropping back, and we'll have a good time. It's not going to hurt us much regardless, but we do push to the end here at flat 99. Make sure that I'm in the front 5. I am, as we go down to the final 1.5K. And Janssens will lead us across the line, back up into the lead, so we're back ahead of Dimension Data by a single second at the finish line. See Barbaro just making it to the end without getting dropped. SEG 46 seconds down. Euskadi is 7 seconds behind. At the start, 12 teams. That's all that's finished so far, so we're going to start speeding this up. Cofidis comes in. Jumbo Visma well off the pace. Israel Cycling Academy is here for this one. EF Education still leading by 1 second there. It's up to a 10-second lead here, and EF Education do lead at the finish by 13 seconds. And then Dimension Data 2 seconds behind us. But we're still in a good position, and EF Education really does not threaten the GC. So in terms of GC contention, we're in good shape. But the real contenders still out there. Movie Star. What? They're not good in the time trial. Well, this is a different team than the real life one. But Ineos, Trek at the top. That's no surprise. Ineos comes in just behind. We're half a minute down. More than half a minute down. Movie Star on top now by 30 seconds. That's not good because that puts us 43 seconds down to Movie Star. Ineos 1 second quicker. Those guys are just stacked. Trek 3 seconds down. So now we're down to 5th place. Ineos already in the race lead. The only good thing about that is that puts pressure on them. They're going to already have the jersey, and they're going to have to defend it potentially for the next 20 stages. And it's Chris Froome who's going to start in the race leader's jersey as he crossed the line first for the team. Luke Rowe here. Bernal is here. Sivakov is here. Yikes. Movistar have Lampard, Jan Hurt, Adam Yates, Simon Yates, both there. So that's why your Mitchelton Scott have the number 1 jersey, but those guys both moved over to Movistar. Wow, I'm 6th in the young rider classification already at this point, so not very many young riders at this race. But Bernal's here and already 45 seconds ahead of me, so we've already lost this race in the first stage because he seems to be somebody, at least compared to the Tour, and depending on Fitness Peak, who is going to be impossible to catch. Speaking of Fitness Peak, let's just go ahead and skip back to our main screen here. Speaking of Fitness Peak, we are now at 49.5 points. We get 3 points per day when racing. So 3 points per day when racing. So at this rate, we're looking at just under 2.5 weeks to get to 100 points. 2.5 weeks, of course, then puts us somewhere around stage 15. We can trigger it early, and I plan on triggering it early. The early trigger is over 90 points, 90% of the way there. Should have the same effect, it's just triggered earlier. So that means we can trigger it 3 days sooner, which puts us right at the 2-week mark, which if you're counting 1, maybe 2, I think will just be before the second rest day. So 1 rest day, that means we're at about stage 13, roughly, when we should be able to begin our Fitness Peak. Of course, the intention, the thought, was like any other major tour. Most of the climbing stages come in the final third of the race. Most of the climbing stages are coming in the middle third of this race, meaning a lot of the climbing stages I will not have the Fitness Peak for, which is going to make it that much harder. Plus, we don't have a strong contingency of climbers around us, so goodbye podium, not going to happen. Stage 2, already one of the climbing stages, very much a lesser climbing stage. It is 12 kilometers though, but only 5%. 15K to go. Surprising news here. The breakaway of 15 had a good size lead, and it was 15 riders, and it wasn't going to be the easiest catch. But just a few kilometers ago, we were down to a 2-minute gap. In the last 2 kilometers, the field just completely sat up. And I was running pretty quick speed still. In the last 2 kilometers, the field sat up, and suddenly it's a 6-minute gap, deciding that not only are they going to win, but apparently Ineos want to give the jersey away. It's unfortunate for us because my team thinks that I'm going to win this race. Coming in without a Fitness Peak, coming in against a very stacked Movistar and Ineos teams. I think at best I should be podium, top 5. I think we're looking at a similar situation as to what we just faced in the Tour de France. Looking around at the team, where is my support? Yeah, it's Auten. Okay. Auten is definitely my support. I want Auten to follow me. And then I want Janssen to provide protection. And then we're going to start using everyone else. Starting with Clark. Let's not start with Clark or Hepburn. How about Durbridge? Just because of position here. Alright, so Durbridge, we've got to do something about that time. I mean, that's way too big of a gap. And what's my team for anyway, other than to give a little protection? I'm already in a strong position, so I'm going to let these guys do their thing. And we're going to start pushing to 95. Durbridge, Smith are all that's up here so far, so that's actually not great. I mentioned Data also putting in a little bit of work to help pull back the time. Pulled back 30 seconds so far. And one of the big things is I do want to put a herding into the field. Otherwise, what's the point? The biggest part of the climb is right now. Durbridge already done. I've got Hepburn behind him right now. So Clark still not here. Whoa. Oh, come on. Clark just freaked out. Janssen's providing protection. Clark, I want you to try to get to the back. Smith is there. Barbaro is there. Here's Hepburn. It's his turn. Durbridge, drop to the back. See if you can hang on.
And he moves on to the attack. It could be decisive.
Where is Auten? Auten's supposed to be providing protection, and I don't see Auten around. There's Auten. Just slowly making his way. Yeah, Clark's not going to make it. Janssen's still providing protection. Hagita and Gegenhardt, are they attacking, or is that breakaway riders coming back? They are attacking.
Counter attack by Adam Yates.
Alright. Push 90, use up Janssen's. Gonna end up leaving my guys behind. But we're already past that steepest part. And we could bridge this gap very quickly and ride with those two.
The pace seems much too high for many riders.
Attacked by Rohan Dennis.
I still didn't make the gap. Okay, fine, whatever. Auten and Janssen still here. Everybody else got dropped. It's a group of 20. Auten and Janssen's are dropped now. It's back together. Still have the break. 4.8k. Everything's coming back together again. It slows right back down. People just trying to neutralize the race, it seems. Auten makes it back up. I'm in recovery. Under 4k to go. It's an easy climb from here. There's not much happening. I mean, we're at under 2% at the moment. 3k to go. Let's go ahead and use our gel.
Who's going to be the first of the line today?
Seeing an acceleration by Yates. working for Yates, which Yates is that Simon working for Adam, or they're both working. 2K to go. 1.7. Breakaway's already won it. Yetzi Bull has won the stage. Not attacking right now, just using my climbing capability. But here comes the sprint from Bernal. Here we go again with Bernal. Look how strong he is. He just easily rides away to claim 16th on the stage. Gegenhardt 17th. I've got 18th. Froome there in 19th, and Dan Martin in 20th. This could be a... Should see a shake-up to the standings a bit anyway. Quite a few riders were left behind, but then you've got the breakaway with their gap. It was considerably smaller by the finish, but I think it was still almost 2 minutes. So 9 riders come in together, and then the other group just behind. Gonzalez loses some time. Bernal crosses 4:13. Wow, that's still a really big gap. So 4:13. No time gaps for any of us. So really, it didn't matter other than just being in the group. So 4:13, 4:13 goes all the way down to Bowman. So in the general, it is those riders who were in the break who now claim the top 15 positions. So Nathan Brown leads this race. None of these are big names. I mean, you got Stannard, but he's riding for Israel Cycling Academy. None of those guys are going to win, but they're going to be in the lead for a little while, and it's a pretty good gap. So now we have Bernal, Froome, Sivakov, Yates, and Poles, Quintana, Gegenhardt, Landa, Kwiatkowski, Conrad, Ciccone, Carthy, and I'm in 29th. Only one for my team that was in the group. You can see all the other teams had 2, 3, 4, 5 riders still there. The guys slightly off the back, right? Bernal, Froome, and then Poles. Poles was 1 second behind because he was the 6th or 7th rider across the line for Ineos. Same with Landa. And you see that again with some of the other teams. So Trek, there's their top 3 guys. Movistar, Quintana was outside of that top 5, but he's only 1 second down. There's your top 3 guys. Ineos clearly has a strong representation with, 6 riders? Is it? 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them made it in the final group. I'm the only one for my team who was here. That just shows how weak my team is. 6 Ineos riders strong enough to make the final group. 3 Movistar, 3 Trek Segafredo, just 1 EF Education First, and just 1 Mitchelton Scott rider. So you can see Hugh Carthy and I would have a difficult time in this race. Hagita, the only Dimension Data rider. So Hagita up there. Good, but I don't think he'll be around at the end. Same with Hugh Carthy. Or Ciccone or Conrad. Gegenhardt. He'll hang around in the top 10, I think, if he's their team leader. He'll hang around in the top 10, but I don't think we'll have a problem beating him. Ineos, though, look, impossible to beat. I mean, that's 6 strong climbers at this race. They came to win. Movistar, both Yates brothers and Quintana. Those are the 2 teams that I think are going to easily take 1 and 2. And then we're going to be fighting for the scraps for 3rd place. And we honestly could be fighting Ineos and Movistar for that 3rd place and not just everybody else. 20K to go, banner. Stage 3 is just a simple climb at the end. 3 kilometers, 6.4% gradient, 9.4 max at the bottom. There is a little hill before the hill at the finish. And yet again, just in the last 2 kilometers, the field has sat up and is letting the breakaway just run away with this thing. So once again, I'm forced to react. Otten is back getting water, and he is to that point where I think everybody needs to be stepping up here except for myself. Nobody's up there with me. Let's take this on down because we've got some work to do to bring this back. And at the same time, while we're not going to bring it back all the way, I still want to do something to try to hurt the field. Otherwise, not many guys are going to lose time. And then at the same time, we're probably looking at... Okay, so the 89, water's done. Let's do this. Who is... Okay, we're going to put Otten behind me. Clark's still not up there, so he's not going to go first, though he would. Barbaro also behind. Durbridge is in a good spot, but he's already here. Smith better for the climb, so I want to be behind Smith. Hepburn's still coming. Hepburn should be moving up, so let's see here. And Janssens is going to be a little bit better off, so we'll put Smith behind him. Durbridge is good on the flat, so I suppose we're going to start with him at the front. And then there's Hepburn. He should be going towards the front, so let's get him behind, say, Janssens. And then Clark, Barbaro are back here because they're down the order a bit. Let's get you behind Hepburn. Alright, here we go. We're going to try to close this gap a bit. It's out to 6.5 minutes already as everyone just rides easy. But also, I want to put a herding into the field. That is my goal, and I'd like to split this thing off. So as everyone tries to get up into position, Durbridge, it's 11 kilometers. Let's go with a 96 here for his last little bit. Durbridge could easily end up going again, so let's get him back in the order. Okay, it's under 6 minutes again, and we're approaching the hill already. Hepburn's behind you. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate you back then. I want you for the hill. Hepburn's going to go full 99 here. That's putting a slight hurting into me, and that's okay.
Off he goes. He's giving it one last go.
Breakaway attack at each other.
Only 5 kilometers left.
And we're up to 5% gradient. So Hepburn. Hepburn, you can actually just relax. You're done. You know what, Clark, I don't want either. I want Janssens. Durbridge. Come on, somebody with a little bit something. Barbaro. Okay, I'm gonna go Barbaro. Who's good on the downhill? Durbridge is. Clark is not. Hepburn slipping back too far. I like that he's providing some support. Barbaro's taken over. Durbridge, closest thing to a downhill, so we're going to get you behind Barbaro. Okay, first hill, you got two guys trying to break away, Siegel and Janssen. No threat from them. And Barrow's done his job.
And there's an attack at the front. He could go all the way.
Durbridge, come on, pull it back. 4 riders, we've pulled back 3 minutes and just 7 kilometers, but we're not going to pull back those last 3, I don't think. And here we go, final climb. Barbaro, yeah, he's got some hills.
Only a few riders are capable of following the very fast pace up front.
2.5K. Okay, now Smith.
There we go. The sprint is on. The riders are setting
Got
themselves
to
up.
use my gel. Not going to win the stage today, but it would be nice if we could get a little separation here. Smith, give me your sprint.
Very tough portion with percentages above 10%.
Today the victory goes to Dennis.
Final K. Not going sprint style here, just looking to get a little separation, which I have. We'll see if they give me a little separation. It's a hilltop finish.
We're waiting for the tail
10 seconds. I take 5th, 2.5 minutes behind. Will they give me my 10 seconds? I certainly earned it. But this game doesn't like to give it. They're just going to place me ahead of those guys and put them in the same time. And for 5th, I gained nothing. It would have been a stage win otherwise. But those top 4, they get the time bonus. They get the stage victory. I'm not even going to get my 10 seconds, I don't think. I don't expect. I find it very unlikely, especially when it came in the final K. I got it! I only got 8 seconds. It was 10, but it was definitely 10. But I'll take it. Okay, 8 seconds. We picked up 8 seconds. So we did get something out of today. Other than 4 more riders who, again, pull away a little bit from everybody else. Unnecessarily. Katana lost time. Okay, nice. Poles lost time. Otten was the only one in the front group of my team this time. So here we go now. Rowe, one of those 4, just moved into the race lead. So he was in the top 15 last time. He's got a 3-minute lead over everybody else. How did we let one of those first riders in the breakaway group today? It's weird race so far with the breakaway claiming the first 2 regular stages. Benedetti. Okay, so here we go. It begins with Chris Froome in 14th place. So a couple of those guys did lose some time, but there's still 13 of them up there, including possible new guys from today or what remains of the group from the last stage, the 15. So we've got Froome, Bernal, Sivakov. Still 3 Ineos riders. And both Yates brothers still at the 1 second behind. Gegenhardt still there. Landa, Kwiatkowski still there. So 1 Ineos rider has dropped time. 1 movie star rider. We know who that was in Quintana. For Ineos, it was... Was it Bennert? Hagita lost some time, I think. No. No, he just lost the 8 seconds. Trek is down to 2 riders. They had 3, so they lost one of their guys. There's Katana, who lost time. There's Dumoulin. 20 seconds behind us. That's a good place for him to be. For us. Carapaz is here. Dang. For being La Vuelta, which often leaves out a number of the best riders, and it's kind of your second tier of best riders generally, with maybe one or two of the top tier guys. All the top tier guys are here, all of them. It's gonna make winning that much harder. Well, Poles was the other one who lost time, so Poles lost time. Not that he's a contender, just showing the strength of his team. Quintana lost time. What is Quintana at these days? At 32. Yeah, he's dropping down in rating. Of course, in real life, he's moved over to Arkea Samsic. Up to 24th now, but still well down the order. But again, 13 of those guys are non-contenders completely. Among contenders, you got to say that I'm probably third, right? Whoever the Ineos leader is, Movistar, and then Gegenhardt. Behind 3 riders. So that puts me at 4th. But there's more to it than that, isn't there? We know Froome's probably going to lose time, but Sivakov, I would imagine that he and Bernal are going to be duking it out till deep into this race on who's team leader because of how strong they are and how both of them can get support. Same with Yates and Yates. So realistically, you got to count at least 2 of each team plus Gegenhardt, and then that means we're 6th. Not exactly in the strongest position, but we gained 8 seconds today, so there you go. We gained 14 points today for getting 5th on the stage when there was no expected results. It helps get back a little manager satisfaction. We had a long break between Tour de France and La Vuelta with just a couple one-day nothings, and then the progression side of it, right? Also lagging behind, but we're up over 200 points. We're getting there. I don't expect much more progress this season, and realistically, like we said, after La Vuelta, there's nothing left to ride for, so it honestly doesn't matter if the manager satisfaction comes back or not. We're moving on. They're not pleased. But at this point in the season, we just had almost a month break. So what has that done in the rankings? We were already passed by Bernal, and it remains the same. I'm just under 100 points behind and well ahead of Dumoulin in the World Tour rankings. But in the Super Prestige, we were still first. And we do keep that position, though the gap is pretty small. Again, just to Bernal. So he and I are running away with standings this year. Dumoulin is very comfortable in 3rd, and then it gets much closer with Lopez and Moss after that. Hey, Nielsen Palace all the way up in 16th. There you go. A little more American representation. 2 Yates brothers, the only British riders in the top. And then you've got a lot of Latino or mainland European riders at the top. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Be sure to hit that like button. We'll see you next time. Be safe out there. Bye for now.